How's it going, everyone? My name's Brandon, and this video is about surgery. A big YouTuber by the name of Boogie2988, who I've been following for a very, very long time now. I actually followed him on my old personal account before I created this one. Yesterday went through bariatric surgery. Now, I'll get into a little bit more of that in a little bit, but first I want to talk a little bit about my surgery. While I have never had bariatric surgery, I've never been overweight, I have gone through major surgery. When I was in 5th grade, I was diagnosed with scoliosis. By the time I was 16, it was very severe. They said by the time I was 26, which would be about a year from now, my body would eventually turn enough, my spine would turn enough where my ribs would have a chance of puncturing some of my vital organs and causing me to potentially die. So basically my body was growing in such a way where at 26, I was gonna kill myself. Not intentionally, but my body was. So I had to go through major back surgery. Basically what they did was they cut me down the middle of my spine and opened me up, placing in 2 titanium rods and 20 screws into my spine. And at the base of my spine, they put in like a bone mesh material that actually was from somebody else's bones and kind of melded it all together in my back. Obviously, those bones are now mine after blood and DNA has gone through them. They are now mine. But at first, they were not. So this surgery was a big shaping point in my life. I couldn't move for about a month. It took some recovery time, but as someone who has gone through surgery myself, I felt it necessary and applicable to make this video. So that was basically my surgery. I had back surgery, and there was a lot to go in through there, and I will eventually go into that in an upcoming video if there's enough demand. But for now, I want to talk a little bit about boogie surgery. Now, while I have never been overweight, and I can't talk to that specifically, especially those who are currently overweight or have undergone the surgery, my mother is a bariatric coordinator at a Center of Excellence hospital. She's actually gotten that twice. Center of Excellence basically means that their policies and procedures for the bariatric program goes above and beyond, and they are certified for now this Center of Excellence, which is basically another certification and almost an award to show. There are plenty of Center of Excellence hospitals for bariatric surgery around the country and possibly the world, but I'm not entirely sure if Boogie's was a Center of Excellence hospital, but regardless, the surgery he went through is actually pretty common and has a very low chance of failure. There is actually a very high success rate when it comes to his surgery. Now again, I'm not a doctor, I'm not certified in any way, I don't know too much about the medical field, but as a child who grew up in a household with a mother who had this as her profession, who I myself also volunteered in her department and met a lot of these people and who have kind of shaped me a little bit growing up, I do feel like I have enough experience with being around this that I can at least talk on it in a little bit more professional way than somebody who just has no idea about the surgery. So first, let's talk about the surgery. So basically what bariatric surgery is overall is the method of shrinking the stomach so that the person whose stomach is now shrunk has a harder time eating a lot of food. If your stomach is small, you're not going to be that hungry. You're not going to be as hungry as you were, especially when you were obese or when you were overweight. It's going to be much harder for you to eat foods that you did before. In fact, it's pretty much impossible, especially at the start. Now, the difference between the lap band and the gastric bypass surgery is very significant because lap bands tend to fail a lot more than gastric bypass. Lap band surgery is basically just a rubber band around your stomach to make the area that your stomach is actually using, the utilized area of the stomach where the food is going into, smaller. However, there is the rest of the stomach still basically hanging off at the end. So if you decided you were sick of the lap band, if you wanted your old stomach back, you could basically have surgery to remove the lap band, and then your stomach would go back to the size it was. A lot of people, especially mentally, can't handle the surgery and decide that eventually they just can't do it and they get the lap band out. However, people that undergo gastric bypass surgery cannot reverse it very quickly. They can't just go back in for another surgery and reverse the process. In fact, it's pretty much impossible to reverse unless you do it over time. Now, what Boogie did was he had the gastric bypass. So that means his stomach is now this big. It's very, very small. And what this does is it starts fresh. So now he is not going to be hungry nearly as much as he once was. In fact, right now, he has to stick to a liquid diet for quite some time. Now, I don't know the complete logistics of it and how long exactly. My mother would know more. He physically cannot eat solid foods for a while. He has to stick to soft foods. Liquid diet at first, probably then more into soft foods like cottage cheese and maybe yogurt. I'm not exactly sure the foods that he's allowed to eat, but more, again, softer foods. Then eventually he'll be able to eat some of the harder foods. There are certain foods where he may never be able to eat again. Now, people that are saying that the surgery is easy, that any surgery is easy, especially this, like this is the easy way out, have no idea what they're talking about. He will have to live completely differently than he has his entire life. Now, yeah, if you dieted, if you exercised, you would, right? You'd have to live that diet and exercise probably for the rest of your life. But technically, you could still eat whatever you wanted, right? So you could lose all the weight. You could be really, really thin, and then one day be like, you know what? I want to eat this huge meal, and you could. When it comes to gastric bypass surgery like this, it's very hard for that to even be a possibility in the future. Maybe a long ways down the road, but even then, it's most likely not going to happen. So if you think it's the easy way out, let alone the pain and the fact that you're actually going through surgery at all, which, by the way, any surgery is pretty freaking harsh. Even the smallest surgeries can be harsh on the body. But something like this, just don't even think about the pain and the process, the recovery time, all that stuff. Think about further down the road. He will never be able to really just go ham on a huge meal like he used to. And while that may suck, at the same time, he is now going to be forced to live a healthy lifestyle. And that's incredible. And for any of the haters out there, for any of the naysayers out there who say, one, he either won't be able to do it, or two, it was the easy way out. First of all, it takes a lot of mental stability, a lot of buildup, a lot of just strength to be able to go through gastric bypass surgery, specifically bariatric surgery at all, any surgery. But for gastric bypass especially, because you cannot reverse that, at least not very quickly. So to be able to even do that is incredible. And that takes a lot of resolve. So if you're saying, you know, he's not going to be able to get through it, he's going to fail, it will be very, very hard for him to fail. Because even if he wanted to fail, even if he wanted to, it would be nearly impossible for him to, because his stomach is already tiny. And he's already been through an immense amount of pain and immense amount of just struggle in general when it comes to changing his lifestyle so drastically. Imagine one day you can eat whatever you want and the next day you can only drink food. You can only drink liquid food, or you could only, you know, eat very soft foods. It's a drastic change. So for those of you who think it's the easy way out and that he can't go through with it, he'll never be able to lose the weight, you're wrong. You're wrong in many, many ways, and I really advise you, if you do think that way, to do some research on the topic first. If you have any questions, you can ask me. If I don't know the answer, I can always talk to my mother about it. She is the expert, not me, like I said. And if you do have any questions, or if I'm lucky enough for you to be watching this video, then if you need any advice at all, like I said, my mom is a bariatric coordinator. She knows a lot. She does support groups every week, multiple times a week for the surgery, and she goes through usually at least one, if not 3 or 4 surgeries a week. It can be pretty crazy. So she really does know what she's doing. And if you need any advice, or you have any questions, you can let me know and I can talk to her, or I can put you right in contact with her. But basically, I started this video off to let you know that any surgery is hard. Any surgery is not the easy way out. I went through surgery. While it wasn't bariatric surgery, I went through a major surgery, and it was hard. It was difficult for a long time. Even now, I'm not as flexible as I once was. I can't do sit-ups. I physically cannot do them. I have metal rods in my back that do not allow me to do them. And now I've been training to work better and better, and I have slowly gotten better with these exercises. I will never be able to do what I was before the surgery. It's the same thing with Boogie. It's the same thing with a lot of people who undergo any surgery. And for something this life-changing, something like back surgery or something like gastric bypass surgery, it's hard. And all he needs is support. And he clearly has a really amazing fan base. I am very proud to be a part of that fan base, so much so that I wanted to make this video about his surgery, even though I'm not overweight and I have never been overweight, and I know that I might get shit for it. I might have people who say, you know, you have no idea. But like I said, I have known a lot of people in my life. I grew up with a mother who, it's her profession to do the surgery that Boogie just went through. And I think that it's an important message to understand that when somebody goes through something as life-changing as this, it's never easy. And to get them through it, you need to support them. And Boogie, we support you. I know you have a lot of fans that do. And if there are any haters, which personally, recently, I have not seen any, which I'm very happy about. But if there are any haters, I hope that they have watched this video and they do a little bit of research before they leave a rude comment, before they ruin someone else's day. Because even if they don't ruin Boogie's day, because he has an outcry of support, there might be somebody else who's reading his comments and maybe going through the same surgery or thinking about it, or going through any surgery and see the hate comments, and it might affect them. So if you are one of those people, please, please just do some research before you act, before you think that it's easy or that it's never gonna work. I think that by this time next year, you will see Boogie as a completely different person. And I'm sure it'll be even before that. But I do think that you will see a healthier, happier Boogie 2988. And Steve, I hope, you know, I wish you the best, you and your wife. I hope once you're able to, once you're recovered, I hope you guys will go on a lavish vacation. I know you're taking a couple weeks off right now, but you should definitely, especially once you start to shed the pounds and you start to exercise and you're able to do that again. I hope you get out a little bit, and we're going to be here regardless. So anyway, that's it for the video. I hope you liked it. If you did, please leave a like down below. I would love it if Boogie did see this video, so please share it to him if you want him to see it as much as I do. And comment down below, let me know if you've been through any surgeries in your life. And believe me, no matter how small, even tonsil surgery can be hard. So that's it for the video. As always, stay awesome.